In this video, we're going to set up our first Phaser 4 project, and more importantly, understand how Phaser actually works. By the end of this video, you won't have a full game yet, and that's intentional. What you will have is a clear mental model of how Phaser is structured, how a game runs, and where your code fits into that process. Once you understand that, everything else becomes much easier. Over the course of this mini course, we're going to build a complete game together. It's a simple falling objects catch game. Nothing fancy, but it will teach you the core ideas that apply to almost every Phaser game. We'll handle player movement, spawning objects, collision detection, scoring, and basic game rules. And we're going to do it without jumping straight into the physics engines, so you actually understand what's happening behind the scenes. To keep things simple, I've included a small starter project in the description. This project already includes Phaser, a basic HTML file, and a simple scene. That means you don't have to fight with setup issues before we even start learning. But don't worry, we're still going to walk through exactly how this project works so you understand what Phaser is doing behind the scene. Now to follow along, go ahead and download the starter project template now and open it up in your IDE or code editor of your choice. For this series, I'll be using VS Code. Once you have the project files, next we'll need to set up a local web server so you can see the game running so we can test our changes locally. There's a variety of ways to do this, but a few of the common options are, if you have Python 3 installed, you can use the built-in HTTP server to start our local server and see your project running in the browser. If you have Node.js installed, you can use the HTTP server npm package. And if you're using VS Code, you can install an extension called Live Server. There are other options available to you, but we won't be covering them in this video. Since I'm using VS Code, I'm going to use the Live Server extension. How this works is in VS Code, if you go into the extensions marketplace, you can search for Live Server. And here we'll have the Live Server by Rick Day. You'll want to install that, and then once you do, you should have a new option appear at the bottom of your toolbar where you can click Go Live, and this will start your local web server and open up your game in your browser. Another way to run the Live Server is if you open up your command panel, you can type in Live Server, and this will give you your options to start and stop the server. Once you have your local web server running, you should see your Phaser game instance, which is just this background image here. And if you open up your developer tools, in our console, we should see our Phaser banner with the version of Phaser that we're currently running. Now that we have our project running locally, let's take a quick look at the files that are included in our project template. You don't need to memorize the structure yet, I just want you to understand the pieces that make the game run. So our index.html, this is the file that is the entry point for our game in the browser. It loads our JavaScript code, which is where our actual game logic lives. In most Phaser projects, the HTML file stays very small. It's really just a container for your game. Next, in main.js, this file is where our game actually starts. Right here, we create a brand new Phaser game instance. This line is what launches our game. The configuration object we pass in, this tells Phaser things like how big our game should be, what scene we should start with, and how rendering should work. You don't need to understand every option yet. We'll keep things simple throughout this course. So in our game configuration, our scale object here, this is where we have the properties that define the size of our game. So this is going to tell Phaser how big our canvas element should be when our game first loads. Then down here, where we call game.scene.add, this is one way we tell Phaser which scenes we want to use for our game. When we call game.scene.start, we're telling Phaser to start this specific scene. So for our preload scene, if we open up our preload-scene file, this is our first Phaser scene that our game will show. So in Phaser, almost everything happens inside our scenes. A scene controls what appears on the screen and how the game behaves. And every scene will follow the same lifecycle, where we want to load in any assets we need, we create our game objects, and then we listen for our player input and react accordingly. And we'll get more into the game loop in just a second. And for our project, we currently have two Phaser scenes. We have our preload scene and our game scene. So with Phaser, you always have to have at least one scene, but you can have as many as you would like. How our project is currently set up is our preload scene is going to be responsible for loading in all of the assets that we'll need. We then call this scene.start to go to our game scene, and inside here, this is where we render out our background image when we view our game in the browser. Our game scene is going to have all of our core logic for our actual gameplay. For now, don't worry about all of the code that's inside our scenes, we'll get more into that later. Our assets folder, this will have all of our static assets that we need for our game. This includes the phaser library, as well as the images and sprite sheets that we'll be using for our project. Finally, under our common folder, we have some boilerplate code that we'll be using in our starter project, and we'll get to that in a second. So what exactly is Phaser? Phaser is a JavaScript framework that's designed specifically for making games that will run in the browser. It doesn't replace JavaScript. Instead, it gives you the tools for things games constantly need: rendering out graphics, handling input, loading assets, and running all of this in a game loop. For the games you'll create, you're still going to write in JavaScript. Phaser just provides the structure that makes building the games much easier. Every game ever made runs on a concept called the game loop. A typical game loop is an infinite cycle where we process user input, we then update our game state, and then render out our frames, typically running between 30 to 60 times per second. This is the core loop of your game engine. Phaser organizes this loop into something called a scene, and each scene has 3 important phases. Preload, this is where we want to load in any assets, like images, sounds, and data that we'll need for our game. Then create, this is going to run once after everything is loaded that we need. This is where we'll build our game world. And then finally update. Update is going to run over and over again, usually about 60 times per second. This is where our movement happens, we'll check for input, and our game state is going to change. And we'll keep repeating our update loop until we receive a signal to shut down our scene. If you understand preload, create, and update, you already understand the core Phaser. Most beginner confusion happens when people don't know when their code runs. So throughout this series, I'll always point out which part of the lifecycle we're working in. And so how our core game loop works with our Phaser scenes is when we define a Phaser scene instance, we can plug in our preload, create, and update methods, and internally, Phaser is going to invoke those methods at the appropriate time for our game loop. So to see that our game loop is running, if we add the preload and update methods to our game scene, and we just add a console log statement, if we open up our developer console and refresh our browser, we should see our console log statements appear. We'll see preload and create are called one time, and then we can see our update log message is firing over and over again. That means Phaser is running, the scene is active, and our core game loop is alive. Nothing is moving yet, nothing is on screen, but the foundation of our game is working. So far, we've learned what Phaser is, how a game runs, and how scenes control the game loop. In the next video, we're going to put our first sprite on our screen. We'll talk about coordinates, positioning, and how the game world maps to the screen. When you're ready, move on to the next lesson and let's keep building.